The limitations of a research study. Any limitations of the study should be considered in the discussion and the conclusion section of the article. The reviewers may ask you to put the limitations in. Potential, if you don't initially put them in, some reviewers, I had a reviewer ask me to do that. Potential threats to internal or external validity, and how these threats may have been reduced in the study design, or suggestions for future research to improve or extend the findings in the investigation. There might be theoretical implications which should be mentioned in the discussion and conclusion. It's important to clearly state theoretical implications of the findings with regards to past or current thinking in the field, implications regarding validity of a previously stated theory. The research results may be supportive of an existing theory, or further support from the agreement of the research article with previous research, or your findings might help generate new theory or modify an old one. There might be practical implications to your findings, which should be in the discussion and conclusion section. Sometimes this is hard when we have basic versus applied research. There's a continuum along which research may fall with regard to basic or applied, and with that regard to whether practical implications are immediate or further in the future. So the practical implications for a basic research study might be hard to draw. Like in some cases, there might be no immediate practical implications. But your basic research leads to more applied research and so on and so forth. The authors might speculate about practical implications if they believe that they're appropriate and if their speculations are justified. Some research is undertaken with more immediate and practical goals in mind. Delineate for the audience the implications of the research for the assessment and management of the communication disorder. So if your study does have practical implications, mention them. There might be implications for future research. Like I said, research kind of builds upon, moves forward. So you might work on a research problem and get some good results that will lead to even more research questions. So implications for future research. A particular research article may raise more questions than it has answers. The discussion section usually mentions some of the questions for future research. Future research may be suggested in a number of different areas, including but not limited to improvements of internal validity by refinement of the design and the execution of the research, extensions of the external validity, right? So trying a different population, further clarification of the relationships of the results to previous research, and additional empirical confirmations of theory and elaborations of practical applications. Suggestions for future research may also be directed towards external validity. So the authors may be concerned with extending the generalizability of their results to other populations, settings, measures, or treatments. Finally, we're going to go back and talk about the abstract of a research article. So the abstract is at the very, very beginning. It's below the title. Many journals require a short overview that briefly summarizes the major points of the article. So the abstract of the research article, the title grabs your attention and like that, or the title brings you in and the abstract would like hook the reader. They're usually a very tight word limit, between 100 and 300 words, depending on the specific journal guidelines. The authors must concisely yet comprehensively describe the problem, subjects, methods, findings, and conclusions. It should be accurate, well organized, self-contained, and readable. Because the abstract must be compact, unnecessary words should be eliminated, along with less important details of the methods and the results. So, very brief introduction, like a 1 or 2 sentences on what was done, why it was done, the methods, the results, and the conclusion. So, like a sentence for each section. It should provide the overview of the article so that the reader can determine quickly if the article is of interest. So, overview, like short paragraph, most important details from the article. And that is the abstract.